Right? You should be building your brand. How many people in here realize you are a brand? Right? You are a brand, especially if you're a business owner. You represent the brand of your business. Building, maintaining a large, trusted professional network. I ask my network questions all the time, and they ask me questions all the time. So if you're not doing that, again, you're leaving some things on the table. Do you search profiles regularly? Because if you don't, you should.
I do.
Yeah, you really should, and you want to look to see who's like somebody else. We do a lot of our hires through LinkedIn, and we're not recruiters. We run a marketing company, and we hire a lot through LinkedIn. And we try to pursue career passions. I mean, it's funny how many times you can change the things you do very quickly by making sure people online know who you are. Yeah, and it's global. It's not just a national function. Number one reason to be on LinkedIn is this one right here. Be found online. If you Google your name, you should come up on the first page in the first or second slide. If you don't, you're not maximizing LinkedIn, because every search engine out there, so especially Google, loves LinkedIn. So if you Google yourself and you're not showing up, you're not doing enough on LinkedIn. So you're leaving, again, a lot of opportunity on the table. So that would be your number one reason, is to be found online. Why do you want to be found online? Anyone want to answer that? Why do you want to be found online? Say again?
Have somebody contact
you. Yeah, have somebody contact you to try to get some business. Why else?
Credibility.
Credibility, right? You can build credibility inside of LinkedIn.
Connect with others in your field.
Connect with others in your field.
Connect with people you want to do business with.
Connect with people you want to do business with. How about finding people you want to do business with? You know, I find a lot of people through, I'll search for someone on my team already, and I'll say, who's like this person? And I look and get all the credentials, and then I can turn around and connect with that person. We've hired people literally that are just like the people who currently work for us.
Now, how do you do the who is like this person? How do you do that?
We'll show you.
Okay.
So we'll bring that up when we get into the meat of LinkedIn,
yeah,
because it'll literally show you when you search somebody. Yeah, that's my point. Right? You know, you should be the number one or number two slot. Actually, you want to dominate the entire first page if you can. And I try to do that through all the different things. And LinkedIn's the easiest way to get there. If you want these links, they're really hard to see, and I apologize for that. I cannot change the colors of them. There's two really good sources, 125 facts about LinkedIn. You'll be amazed at things that you just don't know that LinkedIn does. And the second is there's a bunch of tools on LinkedIn that most people don't even know exist. And in both these cases, if you just ask for the slides, we'll give them to you. And then you'll have the ability to view both of those. And maybe if we have time at the end, you can click on both those links. And
could you give us, you can't see the links.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty hard. They're really long. ExpandedRamblings.com is one.
After the session, you said these would be available to us?
Yeah, if you connect with me, I'll send you the slides so you'll have them. You know, that way it'd be easy to do that. But it's amazing to me. I mean, I went through these 125 facts. I've been in LinkedIn since almost the beta. And there was probably at least 15 to 20 of them I didn't know. I was like, wow, I didn't know you do that. And it's really amazing how much power there is. Again, I equate it to Excel, because I use Excel a lot. I program inside Excel. I've been doing macros and basic programming since college. But it's amazing to me how much I still know about Excel. So anyway, things to avoid. Here's things that you have to avoid if you don't want to. I mean, if you don't want to show up on a search, then do these things. Right? But if you do want to show up on a search, don't do these things. You know, not including a picture. I hear all the time from people, well, if I put my picture in, they'll know how old I am. Okay. How about don't put a picture in, and then you meet in person. Now they know how old you are. And you want to shock them? Right? Would it be good to shock them when you get your first meeting, or would you rather it be they see you in advance? Right? Not including picture, using the wrong picture. A lot of people put in picture of their dog, or their pet, or their car. Bad idea, because that doesn't represent you. So you really need to include a picture of yourself. I recommend a professional picture. You can get them anywhere. Right? Get them done. Skipping the status or summary. A lot of people skip parts because they don't want to include them. Recommend you don't do that, because again, it keeps you from being found. Using the default connection request. If someone sends a request to me and they don't personalize it, I don't accept it. And that sounds harsh, but that tells me I don't even know who these people are. What does it say in the standard, what they call it, the standard or default connection request?
I'd like to add you to my professional connections.
Yeah, I'd like to add you on LinkedIn, right? So if I see that, that tells me you don't know who I am. So why should I connect to you? So you found me in a search. You thought, oh, I'm going to connect to this guy for whatever reasons. You know, maybe it was a recruiter, whatever. I deny him because that tells me you don't have a clue and we haven't met. So don't use the default connection request. Neglecting your privacy. I'm sorry?
Is everyone your potential customer?
No. No, that's the worst question to ask a marketing guy. Because I could be here all day answering that one. Yeah, you do know. Not everybody, just like a realtor. When I met a realtor, my first realtor out here, they said, well, anyone who wants to buy a house is a client of mine. And I said, oh, okay, great. So what if they have bad credit? Well, no, no, that's not a good connection. What if they have no credit? What if they have a prior bankruptcy? I started giving all the what ifs, and all of a sudden their list started getting smaller and smaller and smaller, right? So you really have to understand who your client is, who your audience is. My clients are predominantly franchisors. 95% of my income, I don't know, maybe 90%, comes from franchise companies. So I don't do a lot of business in the small business world. And there's a reason for that, which I don't have time to get into. But I found that that's a good client for me. The average small business is not a good client.
See, that was a good question, not a bad question.
That was good.
Well, no, I said it's a bad question. I some marketing guys. I do one forever. Eliminating cash jobs or volunteer work. Well, volunteer work is really important. Most people don't put it in. If you serve on boards, put it on there. If you're doing anything volunteer, put it on there, right? And then lurking. What's another word for lurking? Yeah, stalking, right? Does that sound like a good thing to do? Stalking people, right?
I missed something. Why would you eliminate past jobs and volunteer?
Not as the things not to.
Not to do.
Yeah, do not eliminate.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, now I go back all the way to 1973, and there's a reason I do that. Now, most people would say it's irrelevant. Well, I was 13 years old running a company. I think it's pretty relevant. And it was not most of my friends were paperboards. My dad decided to pass away and leave the business behind. So mom was a nurse, had to learn how to run that company. We ran it for 21 years. So to me, that's relevant because I became the COO of an organization by 16. Right? By the way, none of my kids wanted to wear that mantle because I tried getting them. They all did start a business at 16, but none of them wanted to take over mine. I said, well, maybe I should just die and give it to you. They didn't like that idea. They said, no, you have to stay around. So I said, okay, I'll do that. So things to do on LinkedIn. Connect with classmates, faculty, family members. You really do. Now be careful on family members. Anybody have a crazy uncle? Right? Now my nieces and nephews probably think I'm the crazy uncle. Right? You ever heard the story that if you don't know who the crazy one in the family is, it's probably you? Right? So if you're not sure who it is, then you might want to look in the mirror. It might be you. But be careful on just connecting to people you know. I have a lot of classmates from high school and college that want to connect to me. We weren't friends then. Right? So I look to see who they are now. If they're the same person they were then, we don't connect. Right? Again, it's strategic. Find new opportunities. There's internships. There's full-time positions. So these are things you want to do in LinkedIn. Where you make money is right here. Joining groups, participating in discussions. That's the money link for us. And I'm going to talk more about that when we get to the back end. Because I'm going to try, if I'm rushing, just let me know. This is a really cool link. If you go to, open up your LinkedIn profile. Most people don't know how to find this. How many people in here are over 500 plus connections? Okay, so do you know exactly how many you are? No, it's really hard to find. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So if you open up your LinkedIn in any window and then open up a second window and just copy it's linkedin.com/contact/manage_sources. It takes you right to a page that tells you I got 1,271 contacts. I had no idea. I had no idea how. I knew I was over 500. I just didn't know how to do that. So why do you want to know that number? I mean, why does it matter? How many contacts you have? By the way, all 1,271, I've either met or we know each other. I have not connected to anybody I haven't met. That's why I said, if you give me a standard, I delete it right away. Because I want to know these people, because I'm going to use them, and I'm expecting they're going to use me. Do you get invites on a regular basis to connect people to other people? Okay, you should, because that's a really good thing to be happening. Is people like the people in your network, right? And then you know the 6 degrees of separation, how that works, right? It's amazing how small the world really is. But your first level, if I've got 1,271 direct contacts, what's that look like by the time it gets to level 3? Yeah, so it's well over that, right? So I can connect with a lot of people and use the leverage of my first and second level contacts to work that in. By the way, we landed 3 new franchise companies not last year, the year before. It took us about a year to onboard them, and all 3 of them came through LinkedIn. So we leveraged our LinkedIn contacts because the turnaround time to land a franchise company is about 9 months. We shortened it to about 7 by going through LinkedIn. So it really helps.
Were they looking for you or were you looking for them?
They weren't looking to make any change at all. You know, we introduced ourselves and said, we do things differently, and we'd like you to start paying attention to us. So they started following us on social media, and before you knew it, they said, hey, let's have a conversation. This is one of the most important things you can do. Here's mine. That's why I said I'm easy to find, linkedin.com/in/Patrick Carter. You want to own your name. If you have a common name like John Doe, Bill Smith, most likely you're not going to get your name, but you really want to follow the ability to have linkedin.com/in/your name, right? Because why would you want that? Why would you want to personalize LinkedIn? Makes it easier to find you, right? The fact that I own my name, so to speak, I really don't, right? LinkedIn owns it. That helps me in rankings, right? It's one of the ways you get, some Google help. What they used to call that, Google Juice.
Google Juice.
Google Juice. So, and again, if you don't understand the steps to that, it's really easy to do, but you have to go in and customize the back end of that URL. If not, it'll just have a long string of characters, numbers, letters, characters, and it doesn't mean anything. So you want to really, kind of make it either your business name, your name. Again, what's your brand? Is it your business or is it you? Yeah, it's you. Like I had to be convinced of that even myself. Because most people don't want to do business with my company; they want to do business with me. Right.
Are you going to show us how to do that?
I have it right there. Click on your profile, scroll down where it says public profile, click edit, and you change the random string of characters to your name. It's that simple. Okay, but it's just like Facebook. It's just like Google Plus. If you're not the first one to the party, and it's amazing to me. I thought Patrick Carter was a pretty unique name until Google. And you notice that my mug was only one of the, 5 or 6 on a Google search? Because there's a lot of other, by the way, the millennials are really making headway on social media. Why are they making headway in social media?
They have more unusual names.
Yeah, but what are they doing that we're not?
Video?
I raised 3 of them, by the way. Well, I'm still raising 3 of them, I guess. They're online all the time, right? They live online. They're doing video, right? Lots of video, right? So you're going to be at a disadvantage if you don't give yourself these common advantages. So here's the main screen, and you're going to want to, Lisa, go back to your main screen. Go back to home. I wanted to show you the things that all these different things do. And for the most part, hopefully you know these. I'm going to really focus on 2 or 3 under interests. Interests is where you find groups. Groups is where we make money. We close about 22% of our business in LinkedIn. It used to be 38%. Then our revenues grew. So everyone know the law of big numbers. As the numbers get bigger, the percentages get smaller. So we still close a lot of business in LinkedIn, but it's now a lower percentage. But we do 90% of that closing in groups. We start discussions, we engage in discussions, we snipe discussions. Some people know means that snipe a discussion. Sniping a discussion. It means that you watch a discussion going on and you know you're the answer to the question being asked, so you directly contact that person. You don't go through the normal conversation string, you go right at the issue. And we do it all the time. So I'll see something, we're like, wait a minute, we can answer that question easily. Let's contact them directly. Sometimes we have to do that through InMail, and sometimes we have to do that by using the premium services. Because I may not be connected to them, so we'll talk about that. Because I don't use premium all the time, but I do use it about 4 times a year. And most times it's because we have a goal in mind. So we'll talk a little bit why you should have goals like that. Business services.
Can I ask about the premium, or are you going to talk about that?
I'm going to talk about it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to talk about it. So business services are all right here: posting jobs, finding talent, advertising, and selling are the 4 things you can do on the business services. Most people don't spend any time here at all, and they really should. Why would you want to? By the way, I post jobs. I probably already have them filled, but I post them anyway. Why would I post a job? Find new ones.
Find new talent.
What else?
Let people know how busy you are.
Let people know how busy you are.
Get your name out there.
Get your name out there, right? I probably do it more for that, because 90% of the time we already knew who we were going to hire. I post it anyway. Right? Notifications, up here you get messages, notifications, invitations. I get about probably 10 to 15 invitations a week. I accept maybe 3. Right? If we've met here, make sure you in your invitation say we met at the class, because if you send me the standard, we're not connected. Right? That's just my way of doing business on LinkedIn. Right? So Lisa, if you click on business services. So just by hovering over, you can see all the different things you're going to do. We're going to get into exactly what those things are in a few minutes. But most people, when you come into LinkedIn, you don't spend any time with the stuff up here. These search tools are really, really powerful. So when I said, how do you find somebody? I'll take one of my top guys and I need another top guy. So I'll put his name in there and I'll search. So put in, Lisa, put in your name. And just do a search. So find yourself. So we'll scroll down a little bit. So you see how the different things she has in her profile? So you're logged in as yourself, right? Mm-hmm. So go find Gabe. Put Gabe in.
Oh, thanks. No pressure.
There he is.
Okay, so click on Gabe. Right now, here's what's really cool. People who looked at Gabe also looked at these people. Right, so you're starting to see who Gabe's connections are. Right, so you start to see where you can start to really use LinkedIn to figure out, how do I leverage this tool? Scroll down a little bit more. Shows you what she has in common with Gabe. And then here's where I get the most power. Scroll down a little bit more. What's that say? Similar. People similar to Gabe. So what is that? How does it know that these people are similar to Gabe?
Because of your profile.
Because of your profile. That's why I say make sure you got the right things in your profile. We'll talk a little bit more about keywords in a few minutes. But really important that your profile through these, I mean, you saw how simple that was. You just put in one person's name, and by going to that screen, I saw some of his main contacts. I saw how Lisa knows him. It would tell me how I know him. Right. And then would also give me as to, here's people that are very similar to this person. And that's a really powerful thing if you're looking for specific talent. Does that make sense? So membership levels. Basic is the free membership. And then there's also a thing called premium. Right? So basic, you can pretty much, there's a lot of things you do inside of basic, and I'm going to talk about that. But I'm going to talk mainly about your profile, because your profile is really important. You saw that we could easily find people like Gabe because of the way they built their profile. right? But the premium gives you a lot of really powerful tools if in fact you have a goal that's very specific. So we use premium about 4 times a year. So your network members are called connections. You really want to remember that, right? They're just connections. But you want to leverage those connections. So here's the things you can do in a basic account. You can build your network. You can maintain that trusted network. You can request and provide recommendations. How many people in here have recommended people? Okay, I recommend you do that sparingly, because what is on the line when you recommend somebody? Your reputation, right? So did any football fans in here? Right, did anyone watch the Hall of Fame inductees?
No.
You know, I watched it just because one of my favorite players was being inducted this year, Jerome Bettis. And he made one of the most powerful statements that I think could be recorded. He said what his father said to him. He said, I don't have much to give you, but what I do have is a good name. Don't mess it up. Right? A recommendation can mess up your good name. So I'm really careful who I recommend, because a lot of people ask you to recommend them just because you work together. You know, I had a guy ask me a couple years ago, we worked on a project together, but I really didn't work with him. We were just on the same project. And he pinged me for a recommendation. And I called him and said, you know, I really can't give you one. And he said, why not? I said, because I don't know you. I said, just because we worked on the same project, it doesn't mean I can recommend you. I said, you just did a piece of the pie. I did a piece of the pie. That has nothing to do with who you are and who I am. Right? He didn't like that very much. Right? You can do up to 5 introductions at a time. You know, introducing people is powerful, because if somebody pings you and says, hey, could you connect me to Gabe? Because I see you know Gabe and I need to know Gabe. Or it's Rhett who I really want to know, but Rhett is connected to Gabe. He's not connected to me. Right? You see how this works? So I can ping Gabe and say, hey, I'd like to, you know, I know you know Pat and you know Rhett. I'd like you to connect me to Rhett. And that's what they call an introduction. Okay? The search tool is really powerful. Receive an unlimited in-mail. If anybody subscribes to premium, they can send in-mail. They can pretty much in-mail, which is nothing more than what they call it, e-folder is what they call it inside of LinkedIn. I think it's called e-folder. You can literally ping anybody inside the LinkedIn portal, with premium and in-mail. But you can receive unlimited, right? So I get a ton of them. I mean, people, you know, view my profile, they're like, oh, this guy does marketing. I'm going to ping him because I got 15 tools I can sell. Right? You can view 100 results per search. Again, premium expands all of that, and you can save up to 3 searches and get weekly alerts on those searches. That's really good if you're looking for work. By the way, you can do a search even if you're not looking for work. Right? I'm self-employed. So am I looking for work? Yeah. Always. Yeah, always. Do I want people to make me job offers? Why not? I mean, if someone offers me more money than I'm currently making, and it looks like it's going to be, I mean, I manage 50 projects a month. If someone says, hey, could you come in and run my company? That might be easier. Right? By the way, I work with 38 creatives. Does anyone here work with creatives? Okay. Anyone know what it's like managing creatives? It's like herding cats, right? Try 38 of them. I put 20 in a room once. I'll never do that again. Okay, so let's talk about your profile. These are things you really have to do. You got to put in a photo. You got to put in a photo, yes.
Can I ask one question about premium? So did you say you could buy premium for a month and then stop it?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, you can start and stop it at any time you want. But they've changed the pricing of it now. It used to be $49.99, and that pretty much covered everything. Now there's 4 levels of premium. So I'm going to talk about the 4 levels. So put in a photo, make it a good one. Don't make it your pets, your dog, you know, your car. You really want to make it you. Because people want to do business with you. They want to do business with all your stuff. Headline is really important, that you have a headline that people can read and understand. You know, what is it you're representing? Again, it's your online resume. So think about if you've ever interviewed people and you've gotten resumes, do you ever want, you know, someone where you just ask for a simple cover letter to give you 3 pages? I literally got a 6-page resume from somebody one time. A 6-page resume. I'm like, you know, I know you've done a lot of things, but I don't necessarily need to know all of them. Your summary, very important that you have a good summary. But again, these are the 8 things that you need to do to be found in LinkedIn. LinkedIn looks at every one of them. They rank every one of them, and they're all important in their algorithm. And it doesn't mean they won't change the algorithm tomorrow, because they do all the time. SEO used to be wonderful. What's SEO like today? It's hard, right? I wouldn't want to be an SEO company. Doesn't mean you can't make it, but it's hard. Just like hosting, 10 years ago, we used to host servers. That was how one of our offerings. Well, GoDaddy came into existence. So what did GoDaddy do to the server business or the hosting business?
Commoditized it.
Yeah, it took away all of our revenue stream.
So in the summary, what's the most important thing to put in there for it to be?
Probably keywords, the things that you want to be known for. So if you want to, like I have an accounting degree and a marketing degree. If I'm not looking for accounting work, I'm going to really minimize that. I'm going to really emphasize the marketing. And so talk more about, we're marketing strategy people, not just marketing development or design people. Right? So your keywords are really important because, again, people will focus on that and Google will search it. Previous experience, relevancy is the key here. Relevancy. My 1973, I thought was relevant. Right? And especially when people ask me the story, what were you doing in 1973? Well, I was playing on the playground, and then my father passed away, and I had a business to run. Oh. And they look at me like, is that hard? Yeah, it's hard. Very hard. But we figured it out. Recommendations. Again, be very careful, but request them all the time from people you trust. You should be asking for recommendations, especially if they're an industry leader. I try to get recommendations for people that have big names all the time. Like with Tom Zagainer, I'm pinging Anthony Robbins. Anyone know Tony Robbins? Right? I know a guy who knows Tony Robbins, so I'm pinging Tony Robbins all the time. He's yet to accept me, but I'm going to leverage my way in because I'm going to continue to be consistent. Right? And do I want to get a recommendation from somebody like that if I get a meeting with them? Absolutely. Right? Additional headings and groups. Again, this is telling people who you are, what you're interested in, what makes you up. What is by the way, I tell you to stay uniquely you because no one's like you, right? No one has the experience you've had. No one's lived the life you've lived, but still make sure you're covering those things. And especially in the groups, I'm going to talk a lot about groups in a few minutes, but to me, the groups are probably the most powerful thing that LinkedIn's done. Your skills and endorsements. Endorsements are really powerful. What's really funny is people who endorse you. I don't like the way LinkedIn does it. Your name will pop up. Like I'll get Patty will pop up and say, does Patty know business planning? Like, I don't know. Maybe I'll just say yes. Right? And all of a sudden, that's the #1 thing Patty's known for. That's not what she does for a living. Right? But all of a sudden, she knows she's known for business planning. So that piece I don't like. So what you want to do, if you want to be known for something specific, ask the people you're connected to endorse you. That's different than a recommendation because no, it's not connected directly to that person. So no one knows how you recommended Patty for that or endorsed Patty for that. But it does give her that legitimacy. So you should be going out to your connections, right, your network, and asking to be endorsed for the things you want to be known for. And you should do that regularly. Do that regularly. That's different than a recommendation, but it's just as powerful. Because people want to know what people think of you in the general population.
You can tell who is recommending you for who. Even if you go cover a picture, for example, you can see.
Oh, that's right, you can.
This is a credibility issue as well. It goes to the person's reputation. So if you know that they're known for something.
I forgot about that.
You can do that, but at the same point, be careful again with what you are doing because you want to manage your reputation as much as this person's too. I'm saying with what I do, this is what I know Pat can do. If I'm wrong, that looks bad on both of us.
So here's what, I forgot that they put the pictures with that. They didn't used to do that. So look what I'm known for, the top 3 things. Now, entrepreneurship, I'm an entrepreneur, right? Now, if you're a company owner, does that scare you? Yeah, it shouldn't, but it does. Why does the entrepreneurship scare people? I'd be impossible to manage. Because if I'm not in charge, life is bad for both of us. Right? It's just how I'm built. You know, I learned pretty early that if I'm not in charge, if someone's not leading, I will. Why? Because at 13, I had to learn how to fire half of my dad's guys at 14. Worst day of my life. Still to this day, the worst day of my life. Because I had to fire good people. But guess what they weren't doing? They were not taking, no, they were doing a great job. They wouldn't take orders off a 14-year-old. So I might say, hey, you need to go over here and do this. They'd be like, you can't tell me what to do. I was like, yeah, I think I can. And I finally met with the attorneys and had fire half of them. Right? So I'm known for this streak of inside of me. I'm known for entrepreneurism. But this is what I want to be known for. By the way, that was like 20-something a couple months ago. I started pinging my network saying, hey, this is what I do for a living. You know, can you help me there? Quit telling everybody I'm an entrepreneur. Right? I really do marketing strategy.
But why don't you have like franchise of something up there?
I could, but that's not, again, really, it's part of our strategy. You know, I don't care if people know that we do franchise work. All I care is that franchises know I do franchise work.
I have a question.
Yes.
I believe you can list the order of those different skills. There's an option to edit and drag and drop and move those based on what you believe what your top skills are. It may not be the order of as far as the numbers of people that actually recommended you, but I believe you can move those around, drag and drop them, and rank them by.
Bring that up when after we're done, and I'll send that out. I'll find out how it's done. Okay. Because if it can be done, that would be great.
There's just an edit pencil on the right.
Yeah. Say again.
There's an edit pencil on the right of the square. You just hit that.
You have to be logged into your profile, I'm assuming?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, that's why Lisa can't see it, because she's logged into hers.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that'd be, if you can do that, that'd be great. Right. Because right now I just let numbers dictate. Any associations, organizations, boards, anything you do is relevant. So fill that stuff out. A couple tips. You can save your profile or PDF and share. You know, you got to be careful sharing your profile online regularly. I usually like, as Lisa was talking with me yesterday, put it in a PDF format means I can send it to very specific people, right? So it kind of gives me that ability. You can do that right inside of LinkedIn. And when you're making changes to your profile, turn off notifications. Because let's say you make 10 changes, guess how many notifications go out to your people? 10 notifications. Every change you make, and you don't say I do one today, one tomorrow, I'm going to constantly be updating my network saying, you ever notice up on the top, Lisa, go back to the home page. You might have already done this though. Yeah, so you already did it. So over here, you get this area where it says kind of some activities you can do. You can like somebody's years of service, right, or do some other things. A lot of times these weird ones pop up. It's because people are not turning notifications on, yet they're updating their profile. So I get these crazy ones like, you know, Paul Jones, you know, has an anniversary. No, he doesn't, but it's because it's notifications. Right? So make sure you pay attention to both of those.
That's found over here.
Yeah, notify your networks. You just turn it on and off. So it's a toggle. So the advantage of having a complete profile, if you're following along on your handout, you have 40 times more likely to appear in a search. 40 times more likely to appear in a search if your profile is complete. My profile strength is considered all-star. I don't know if that's the best because I noticed there's a little gap here.
Yeah, I got the same.
Yeah, so I'm thinking all-star might be the top. I don't know.
Yes.
Is it?
As far as you can go, you'll still get suggestions from LinkedIn as to how to complete it, but it is for the most part complete at that point.
So the objective inside of LinkedIn is, again, if you understand your audience, the people you're connected to, what do you want to be doing with them every day? Right? I'm not a random, hey, here's an update, you know, here's the 10 updates I want to do today, because to me that's irrelevant. What is relevant is something I find interesting, and I want my network to find interesting as well. So I do about one a day, you know, and that's how they give me an all-star profile strength. So the objective is, and Lisa knows this probably better than anybody, consistency over frequency. You know, consistency over frequency. Same thing applies to blogging. We'll probably talk about blogging in a future class. You know, you don't have to blog every single day to find success. You have to be consistent. If it's going to be weekly, then make it weekly. Make it the same day, the same time, because the Google bots, which is the servers out there, are looking at those profiles every single day. Okay, premium count. There's 4 things you can do with a premium count. We're going to look at all 4. You can do job seeking or looking for work. You can do, if you're a business person, there's all kinds of things you can do on the business side of life. You can look for sales. They call it the sales navigator. And last but not least, if you're a recruiter, you can recruit inside of LinkedIn. I would imagine if you're a recruiter, you're probably on LinkedIn. And you're probably recruiting inside of the LinkedIn portal. I don't know how else you would do business today. Here's what they look like. And Lisa, if you click on, let's see, go to business services and just click on business services. It might take us there. Will let you select that, or is it going to make you go to individuals?
Make you go individual.
I just hope it will let you click on all. Here's what it looks like when you get behind the portal. So it's the same basic thing. Then it gives you some ideas on what you can do inside of each one. And then you have to select the plan. So these are the premium services. So I'll show you what they cost. So Job Seeker is the cheapest at $30 a month. This is where you can land your dream job. You can direct message to recruiters. By the way, you can find recruiters. All you got to do is know one, type them in, and who are people similar to this person. You'll find a whole bunch of recruiters, right? You don't necessarily have to search for their company name or their name. You'll find them. Featured applicant option. There's an opportunity where you can try to be a featured applicant, getting their attention, not just the hirer, but also the recruiter. You get 90 days of profile views on the basic plan. I think you get 30. Is that right? I think it's only 30. So you get an additional 60 days. And then you have this whole section called Applicant Insights. So if you're looking for work, you really should consider paying the premium service and getting the additional options. If, again, you're looking to try to land a job. But it's going to cost you $30 a month. Again, this all used to be $49.95 or $49.99. Now they have 4 levels. Business Plus is $60 a month. So with that, you get 15 email messages. You get the advanced search, which I don't, my guys do most of the advanced searches, because I could do an advanced search in free, but this must be even more powerful. I've never seen it because I got guys to do that. 90 days of profile views, again, and unlimited profile searches. Yes.
You also get everything that's included in the Job Seeker?
Not always. So it's not like an add-on in most cases, because you'll see some overlap here. Like you have 90 days of profile views, you have 90 days of profile views. So I think they're probably not, they're probably more siloed-ish.
What is 90 days of profile views? What does that mean?
So if I go to, Lisa, go to your profile. If you go to your profile, you can see, actually go back to home. It's easier to look at from home. So at the very top, see where it says, hey, people viewed your profile in the last 7 days. So click on that and it'll tell you who's viewed you. Yeah. Well, right now you get a pretty limited, and by the way, this is a pretty good tool because there's some things happening in here where you can see it's looking at, did you take any actions, inside of LinkedIn? If you haven't, if you got flatlined, then LinkedIn is flatlining, right? You want it to be where there's peaks and valleys, okay? So scroll down a little bit and you can see here's people that are viewing her profile. And now you get, if you're in the premium service, you get 90 days of this. So scroll down a little bit more and you'll probably see where it just says, yeah, so she's going to be a limited number. You're not premium, right? Mm-hmm. Oh, you are premium. Oh, then you're seeing the 90 days. So if you were in a basic account, it'd probably cap you at about 15 or 20, right? It's only 5. So, and then you can see more. You can click the see more, right? But here she can see everybody who's looked at her profile in the last 90 days, right? So you get a lot of views. Sales Navigator, this is, again, 15 emails, so you can see they're probably silos. Advanced Search with Lead Builder. So again, they add a little, strength to the system. You get a Lead Builder in there. You get 90 days profile views. That seems to be pretty standard. Unlimited profile searches, again, pretty standard. Lead recommendations and save leads. So if you find something, you can save all those different sales functions. By the way, if you're using this service, I'd probably recommend you use some level of a marketing CRM. Does anyone know one? A good marketing CRM? Ever heard of Infusionsoft? Salesforce, right? Probably most common. Sugar CRM. There's probably about 30 to 50 out there right now. We work with 17 different franchise brands, and we have 6 different CRMs we have to support. And the most recent one I really, really like, but it's really edgy. It's called SendReach. But there's Hatchbuck.
SendReach.
Yeah, SendReach.
SendReach.
Send, S-E-N-D.
Send like
SendReach. So SendReach, Hatchbuck, Infusionsoft, Nutshell, Salesforce. There's one more that I'm forgetting. Insight is one of them, but that's not one we work with.
One page is a good one too.
One page?
One page is a good
Yeah, so if you're going to be here in the Sales Navigator, you want to have a way of managing that in a better way. Because email marketing services just don't cut it. Like Constant Contact, MailChimp, they're not going to get you the results that the CRM will. It's just hard managing the system. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't say cost of that is $80.
Will you back up one slide? I have a question on that.
Sure.
The last one. Will you explain what real-time sales intelligence is?
Yeah, so it's delivering you like all kinds of reports. So you get the
Customized?
Yep. Well, customized from their perspective. You get a little bit of customization on your side, but they're literally giving you all kinds of things like, here, here's people that viewed it, here's what they thought, here's what they commented on. So you get a lot of little things that can help you try to land a client. And then Recruiter Lite, anyone here a Recruiter? Nobody? Okay. Oh, we have one. So Recruiter Lite, obviously there's a lot. You get templates with this one. You get automatic candidate tracking. So there's a lot of little building tools that 10 years ago didn't exist. Right? Recruiting used to be, I remember in the day, they used to call them headhunters. Headhunters. Everyone remember headhunters? No. That's how I ended up in the wireless industry. A friend of mine was a headhunter. And we had just sold the family business. It was 94. And I semi-retired. Actually, I retired. I just didn't tell my wife. And she, my friend called me and said, hey, your buddy that does that, career stuff called, wants you to go and interview. And I said, well, why would I do that? I'm not looking for work. So I called him and he said, you did me a really big favor. I'm about to lose the account. Could you go interview for this job? And I said, well, I have to accept it. He said, no, that's great. I'll go. So I got in the car, drove to the job, interview with the regional president. I didn't care. Right? That's the best way to interview for a job when you don't care. Right? I mean, I learned that. I just go in, I don't care. So it was interesting. I said, I was really relaxed. He said, hey, where do you see yourself in 5 years? I said, what's your job? He said, I'm the regional president. I said, can I get there in 5 years? He said, I don't know, maybe. I said, well, that's what I'll shoot for. I'll shoot for your job. That's why I hired him. He made me an offer I couldn't refuse. They brought me out of a 3-month retirement. Okay, I was literally retired for 3 months, but I could not turn the job down. It was way too enticing. So be careful when the headhunters talk to you. That's the moral of the story. Be very careful when headhunters talk to you. And they ask you to do them a favor, you might end up with a job again. Okay, email fax. Here's another advantage to emails. It's much more effective. Right? So they have proven stats on this. They get read more often. They get responded to more often. Again, you got to have premium service to be sending emails to anyone outside of your first level connections. So second, third, and beyond, you need email. Emails are never wasted. So they have this ability to accept and decline, and they get saved. You choose how long they get saved for, and emails can be stored and used in the future. So let's say you run a campaign, it's every fall, right? Who can name a fall campaign? Something that runs every fall. Back to school. What else? Okay, preseason, college, holiday. Oh, holiday. How about Oktoberfest? Right? How about pumpkin spice everything? Right? You notice that pumpkin spice is coming out now? Real pumpkin. Real pumpkin. That's right. I heard real pumpkin. Right? Okay, so grow your business tips. These are the things that you can do to grow your business. I want to spend most of the time. How are we doing on time? We got about 15, 20 minutes, so we should be good. Growing your business, searches. It's the number one thing we do. We search on people, we search on companies, we search on careers, we search on names, phrases, keywords, and every one of those will return a result. So an example, a search we did a couple of years ago to find franchisors, we typed in franchisor, which is spelled F-R-I-N-C-H-I-S-O-R. And it gave us a list of about 6,000 that had that in their profile. I only wanted one or two. So we started looking at geographics. Where would we like to service these people? Where are we currently now? So we started zeroing in. We literally created a data. We did a data mine. All started with a search term. And that's the key, is who are you trying to work with, why are you trying to work with them, and how you want to get their attention. And that's really important, because you can find them here in LinkedIn. Answering things. It used to be they had a functionality. Does anyone remember when they had a functionality called answer?
Yes.
Right? And this no longer exists. I think they killed it. And you were getting rankings, you were getting profile rankings based on the ability for you to answer questions. So if you answered a lot of questions and they were relevant, then you got some profile. They took that away. Now you have to work inside the discussion. So example, Lisa, go to a group, and it doesn't matter which group. Pick one has a lot of discussions. Yeah, this would be good.
This doesn't have a lot of discussions, though. Toastmasters would.
Yeah, go to Toastmasters. So under interests is where you find groups, and then you should be connected to any group that's relevant to you. So, obviously any franchise group, any buy business group for me, any entrepreneur type group, any, any business startup type groups, coaching organizations, those are all connections for me. Anywhere where I serve on a board, connection for me, right? You have to determine what is relevant to you. But the key here is someone's going to start a discussion. You know who it is. You know what they're asking. And then you're going to see, you want to see where there's comments. The biggest mistake people are making today is just like something. What does a like mean?
Nothing. You support it, you like it.
I support it.
You've seen it.
Yeah, I've seen it. That's basically what it means. Nothing else, right? So how you engage with the audience is comments. Getting involved in the discussions. Now, this is where I snipe a lot, right? Taught my guys to snipe. Because right here, if we see that the question is something we can easily answer, and we know where the answer to it, and the person asking it is who we want to be connected to, we contact them directly. So I might go premium, pay the fee, ping them in email, I have an answer to your question. And what does that do to them?
Well, just curiosity.
Okay, because especially if you answered correctly, what has happened to you in their eyes? Credibility, right? Total credibility. So guess what happens very quickly after that email goes on?
You get a response.
Yeah, I'll either get a response, or you know what I see first? They look at my profile.
Yep.
View my profile.
They go check
So
it
I
out.
know I have their attention because they viewed my profile, right? So now I wait for the response. What if I don't get a response? Ping them again. Ping them again. Right now, I don't make it irrelevant because I'm not trying to be lurking, creepy, right? I'm trying to make sure that I'm trying to be a what I call a trusted source. First, I need to be a source. There's an organization that Lisa and I both belong to that follows the philosophy that I follow, which is know, like, trust. You have to know me before you can like me. You have to like me before you can trust me, right? But once you trust me, what happens? What happens when you have trust?
Reciprocal.
Yeah, you start doing business together, right? Because now there's a level of trust. So, in the realm of answering in groups, going to a discussion and getting involved in the discussion, if it's not something that I want to directly get engaged with, but I want to still build my credibility, I'll just post the discussion. But if I really want to connect to that person, that's when I snipe it.
I have a clarification question.
Yes.
When you use the phrase "I have an answer to your question," is that what you're saying in your email, or are you actually giving them the answer to the question in the email?
I give them the answer.
So your
But
subject
I,
line
but
is
I do
probably-
say I have an answer to your question.
probably the subject line, and then you
Absolutely.
answer the question. Okay.
Yep. Yeah, and why not? Because what do I have to lose? Right. We're not doing business currently today, so why not try to build credibility? Right. That's to me, that's the easiest way. This is where we make money. We close most of our business inside discussions. And I tell people that all the time, and most of the people I tell that to, they don't do it. So I'm telling you that. If you want to make money in LinkedIn, you're going to make money inside of discussions. Now, you have to know your stuff, right? You have to know your stuff. So if someone posts a question, I had a nonprofit post a question. They're retiring, actually it was a church, they're retiring a pastor, and they were going to give him the car. I'm like, can't do that. I'm a marketing guy. But I pinged them. I said, you can't do that. You can't give a car. And they said, why not? I said, that's an asset on your balance sheet. They looked at my profile now they're really confused. There's a marketing guy answering an accounting question, right? But I ran 2 companies. Well, 3 if I include my current one. You can't just give away assets. There's a process involved with that. And as a church/nonprofit, you better follow that process, right? So what happened? What do you think happened when I told them they can't do that? They called me, right, and said, hey, can we meet? We did their website. That was not my intent. I just was answering the question.
But you know, in those discussions, do you go to every single group? Like some people have like 50 groups. I mean, are they clicking on every group and saying, oh, what's the discussion going on now? I mean, you could be there forever.
How do you
I usually do, I'll do a search inside groups. So I look for specific discussions.
Okay.
So you really, I mean, you can scroll through if you want, but you know, what you find out pretty quickly is there's certain people that are what's the right term? Like a Seth Godin. What would you call Seth Godin? Knowledge leader, like your thought leader, right? So thought leader. That's exactly the word I was looking for. So I literally look for thought leaders and see what's going on there. And then I start looking for that. And, you know, my dad used to say this, and again, I was probably 10 when he said it. He said, if you want to see where the economy's going, watch what big businesses do. Like, okay, Dad, I'm 10. I don't know what that means. But he was right, because big business is always ahead of what small business is doing. Right? So I started watching what these bigger businesses do. So I watch thought leaders all the time. TED Talks. I watch TED Talks all the time. Right? Khan Academy. Anyone know who Khan Academy is? Mm-hmm. Right? If you have kids, you better have knowledge of Khan Academy. Because Khan Academy is on YouTube. It's a guy, Salman Khan, I think is his name. Mm-hmm. And he has practically every topic known to man on a YouTube video. So your kids could be learning as they're watching videos. I would have so loved that as a kid. Okay, let's move on to marketing specifics.
Just real quick, can you show one quick search inside a discussion as to how you would isolate it as an example?
Let's come back to that because it might not be easy.
We'll do.
Yeah, it's not easy. With the HER and premium, it might be. Okay, so let's talk about marketing specifics. LinkedIn groups we talked about. Create one or join one. Creating one is even more valuable if, in fact, you're going to maintain it. If you create it and never do anything with it, you may as well not create it. But create it, I've created maybe 3 or 4, and then I have my guys. It's always an advantage that you have people who can do that stuff for you. So I pay somebody to keep it active, right? And obviously, I watch it to make sure that, you know, they'll say, hey, can we talk about this? Yes, you can. But you have to, creating a group is very valuable if you're going to maintain it, right? If you're not, just join a couple and get involved. Join a couple, don't join 50. Join 3 or 4, you know, join 10. Don't join 50 because now you got too much information coming your way, right? You're not going to be able to maintain any of it. Updating your profile. By the way, in the groups, I said, you know, ask and answer questions and connect SlideShare to your profile because SlideShare is are they owned by LinkedIn now?
No, they're partnering with LinkedIn.
Are they partnered? So I saw AT&T bought DirecTV. Did everyone see that?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. Some of these mergers that are occurring get really interesting. Because I thought SlideShare got sucked into LinkedIn, but maybe they're still independent. Because Google, does everyone know Google owns YouTube? Mm-hmm. You know, a lot of people were surprised in a conversation I had with a group a couple of weeks ago. They didn't know, half the class didn't know Google owned YouTube. Update your profile with keywords. As we talked earlier, keywords, key phrases. You know, because key phrases are just as good as keywords. And you want to see if they're working. Test them. Just like any marketing approach. You know, you plan it, you put it in action, you test it, try to see the results, And if it's not working, what do? Yeah, you rearrange, right, or retool, and you go back and start testing. Right? But updating your profile, you want to see if it's getting, if your objective is to be noticed, and you're not being noticed, that tells me something's wrong with your profile, right? It's just like anything else. If you're, anytime I go into a situation and you're not getting any results, there's only one of three things can go wrong, right? I always equate it to either sports or fishing, right? And I don't fish anymore, but I still go back to fishing. If I'm not getting the results, I'm either in the wrong pond, I got the wrong equipment, or what else? Wrong bait, right? So only three things are wrong. So it's up to me to figure out which one of those is wrong. So mine are wrong pond, meaning, right, because maybe there's no fish. Using the wrong bait. Your in-mails might not be the right bait. You know, especially when you're talking CEO level. You get down to the operations guy or someone involved in HR, they're probably looking at in-mails. But the owner of the company, probably not. Right? So again, look at your bait. Right? And then obviously, you know, looking at the tools you use. You know, so to me, it's really important to understand that. Create events. This is my least favorite, but we do it. Creating events. So what is an event? Yeah, Asma just told us about an event earlier today. The event's coming up on August 27th.
Yes.
Right? So they created it. Now they should have created that event hopefully they created it in LinkedIn, because that gets a lot more traction, right, than just creating it on your own website. And then you have to promote it inside your profile. So if you're going to do any type of an open house, or if you're a realtor, I don't know why you wouldn't have all kinds of events, right? Just because
I don't think you can create events anymore on LinkedIn. I think they took that feature away.
Did they? They did. I'll have to check that, because I thought they still, they've been talking about it for a while.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it's just like answering. They took that away. I thought you can still do this. So maybe they took that away, so we'll have to check. Conduct advanced searches. This is really the key, because this is where we find most of our, in our opinion, where we get most bang for our buck. Looking at industry, looking at keywords, looking at company. I look at my competitors all the time, and I'm sure they look at me. Why do you want to look at your competitors? See who they're connected to. I want to know the groups they're involved in, because sometimes they'll be involved in something and crap, I didn't know about that. Because there's something new every day, right? So looking at those really important, and then sending those emails. You know, again, not because you feel like you should, because it's strategic. You know, the worst thing you can do is not have a goal in anything you do, especially in LinkedIn. To go into LinkedIn without a goal, it's just like trying to build your house without the blueprint, right? I know I can, well, a house is 4 walls, a roof, you know, windows, the worst, right? Foundation, but what's the blueprint giving? Gives me the specifics. So having a goal, you know, on the business venture team, you know, we have 30 of us, right? So Diane, Lisa, myself, I think that's going to be 3 that are on the team. Oh, Tom. So we have 4 of us here, right? Of all the different people we've mentored, how many times do we find this plan?
Almost never.
Almost never. Okay, now think about that. Almost never. So here we are, small business owners, and the first thing we should do before we try to start building our business is have a plan. And we almost never find one. It's rare when we do, we get real excited, right? Because most people don't plan. They start, right? They jump in and they start doing. Well, what if your doing is not moving in the right direction? Same thing with LinkedIn. What if it's not moving in the right direction? You really want to have a plan, and that's why the emails make so much sense. Don't sign up for the preview service right after this class unless you know how you're going to use it. Because to sign up and start paying the money is foolish, because you don't know what you want to do with it. Does that make sense? Yes.
The creating events is no longer supported in LinkedIn, but that doesn't mean you can't go out to another platform, create the event, and then promote through LinkedIn. That way they know you're on another platform as well.
That's what I'm saying, because that's an easy way. It was such an easy way to get profile views with the next. So here's just a quick snapshot. You know, I don't look to get a lot of views. Here's where I make a lot of bang for the buck now. It's those posts. So here's 198, 96, 248. What happens when people are reading the things you're posting? What does that mean? I posted one today that came from Social Media Examiner. And it talked about how to maximize your profile, not necessarily on LinkedIn, but profile in general, social media, right? So if you're connected to me, I guarantee that one's going to get a lot of reads because most people are trying to figure this stuff out. And it talked about all the things I'm talking about today. You know, strategically building your profile, number one, making sure you're complete. Number two, who are you looking to do business with? What do you want to say to them? I mean, isn't that some of the basic stuff? But we get involved in LinkedIn, we create our online resume, and we do nothing with it. And what happens when you do that? I mean, literally the first thing you should do when you leave this class is go home and Google your name. And if you're not showing up on the first page, LinkedIn is a great way to get you there. Right? Now you have to figure out how do you use LinkedIn, I should say leverage LinkedIn. Because I really think all these social platforms are using us. I really don't think we're using them. I think they're using us.
I have a question.
Yes.
When you turn off that edit button so people don't see all the edits you're making for 10 minutes for the day or whatever,
Yeah.
that means you can't view who the people have that are looking at your profile at that point, right?
I don't know. I think you still be able to see them. It's just that they're not getting the updates. So it's not pinging your first level with all the changes you're making to your profile.
I thought you weren't able to see who viewed your profile.
No, I think you can still see that.
You can still do that.
Yeah, it's just making sure that you're not pinging your network or your connections with the update you're doing. So I can scrap all that because the 10 tips to support an event, run an event is obviously no longer valid because these are the 10 things we used to do. And again, it was really powerful, so easy. Hold an event, get people to come online, especially if you're using, anyone in here using webinars? I know Jerry does.
Yeah, we used to.
Yeah, and webinars can make you a lot of money if you do them right. The key to webinars is who's in the audience. It helps you build a list. Well, and it's funny because that's probably the number one thing that you should be doing in your business today is doing list building. So I think that's the last slide. So I'm going to take questions. Okay. So questions. We covered a lot of ground, but we stayed still on the high side of basic. What is it you're looking to know more? Because we can do some views inside of a live profile if you want.
So can I talk about some groups are locked versus others? So what's the difference, and do you get better exposure with one or the other?
Yeah. So if you try to ping a group, like let's say you want to get involved in the Arizona Marketing Association, as an example. Let's say you ping them in as a locked group, then the best way to get in is usually by invite only. So you would want to use the network to find someone that's involved in the leadership would be better. And then you ping them to say, can I get in? So from your perspective, a locked group just gives you control. If you're looking for control, you get control over your group. But I don't like locked groups, just because it keeps people from joining the group and getting involved. In discussions, because you have to be a member of the group to get involved in discussions. Yes.
Sometimes you're able to ask someone to connect with you right off the bat, and sometimes you're not able to invite them to connect. What is the difference between a protected invite and a free open invite?
Well, and sometimes you'll get it where it'll say, hey, what's the email address of this person? Right. So that's actually a feature that I kind of like, because that way I can't just turn around and say, let me connect anybody I want to. Most people don't lock their profile, but you can set your security settings, a range of things that will keep people from seeing you or not seeing you. The more you restrict it, what happens? Yeah, the fewer people can see you. So you really have to balance that security with what you're trying to accomplish. I will tell you that SendReach is a good example. In SendReach, one of my guys was involved in building that. It's a highly intrusive tool, meaning that it pulls a demographic profile of you because you gave it all to social media for free anyway. So if you, on your Facebook account, if you said the movies you like, the food you like to eat, the restaurants you go to, can I build a profile off all that? Is it free? Yeah. Yeah, and that's what SendReach does. So to me, it's a little creepy because the demographics I saw in the first run were like, wow, that's a lot of data. But it's all stuff that's in what they call public domain. So in the more you restrict, the more likely that you are that will pop up saying, okay, you might know them, but you're going to give me an email address first. And if it's not the email address connected to their account, you're not going to be able to connect to them. So you can connect multiple email addresses, by the way. So it could be a series of, and you should have at least one email address connected to your account.
Well, I was trying to connect to you right now, and it's, it's kind of blocked in that way where I need something particular to be able to ask me for the slides.
That's weird.
Like it, just ask me, how do I know you? Obviously, been working.
Oh, yeah. So does it give you the ability to say friend?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Once.
So you just say friend. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. Say friend, and then put in there.
Okay. Then that's right.
Attend to your class.
Okay.
Send me the slides. Right. But notice if you don't do that, it'll give me the standard invite.
Yes.
And that's what you don't want to do. Yes.
Julie tried to Google me on, or not Google, but find me on LinkedIn. I go by my middle name. I've had it for a long time. Really hadn't paid all that much attention to it. The company name is actually my first name and my last name. So she can't find me. So can I change how do I?
Can you change your account name?
Yeah.
Yes. It's not easy, but you can. You can change your account name. So you might, was it Twitter that required you to call? I think it was Twitter you had to, I think if you didn't have an issue.
They don't say they have to approve it.
They have to approve it.
And they usually get back to you pretty quick.
Yeah, but you may have to ping them.
One thing they do that's quick is changing your name.
Yeah, so they're gonna have to verify it's you, not somebody trying to ghost profile you.
Or could I just put it on the LinkedIn?
You could, but then you're gonna start from scratch again.
Not really. I don't really want. She asked me if you want to put it. No, I don't.
Yeah, I mean, I prefer you didn't do that, just from the standpoint if you have connections already, you got to reconnect with everybody. Yeah. So maybe not the best approach. Yes.
Pat, as we've been going through this presentation, I've stayed on LinkedIn and I've refreshed a couple of times, and you have posted things automatically. Because clearly you're not on LinkedIn posting anything right now. This one just came up. Although, maybe, I don't know why, but it seems like it's indicating 12 days ago that you posted it. Had to do with Are You an Entrepreneur? 4 questions. We'll have to find out.
Yeah, so we do both. Which I told Lisa we should bring up.
You don't want to answer, that's fine.
No. I'll answer that. It's kind of cheating the system. But there are tools out there that let you time your updates, right? My favorite's called Hootsuite. Does everyone know Hootsuite? Okay, a lot of people don't. It's HOOTSUITE. Lisa actually uses a different one. You said you're using?
We use Social Ally, which is a local company here in town.
Yeah, Social Ally, ALLY. There's a whole bunch of them out there that let you take your profiles, predominantly it's Facebook and LinkedIn and Google+, right, for the most part. But you can get...
This one lets me do a whole lot more.
Yeah, so you can time them. So an example, I may say, I don't want this to, I may have 5 things I want to say, but I don't want to do 5 things right away. Worst thing you can do is boom, 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 just people won't see half of them. So I'll time them. So that's when I'll go to like a Hootsuite and I'll say, I want that update to go out at a certain time and place. But Lisa, go back to your homepage. LinkedIn.
Okay.
There's 2 different tools you can use. You have the share an update and you also have publish a post. Those are different.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So share an update is what I would call your standard Twitter, Facebook, standard update. Right?
Goes in your feed.
Goes in your feed. So if you publish a post over here, click on that, Lisa. Because you get, it's a little bit more, it gets a lot more, I shouldn't say it. It gets a lot more visibility on LinkedIn.
Let's hear it. Basically the microblogging platform.
Correct. So the advantage is this is kind of like Twitter inside of LinkedIn. So when you think about what you can do inside of LinkedIn, this is the Twitter version of LinkedIn. Maybe even Facebook. They probably try to take Facebook on with this too. So your standard update is going to go to all of your connections and maybe even some of their connections, but the publish a post is, submit a post is different.
Right.
And typically, if I'm going to submit a post, it's usually going to be linking back to something else. It's not going to be something where I just say something myself, although you can be used for that.
The thing to remember with this also, when you hit publish to publish a post, it goes up at that moment in time. There is no way to schedule in here.
That is correct. So, so scheduling, when Tom was asking, how do you do that? We use a third-party tool like a Hootsuite. There's a lot of them out there.
Feed as well.
Yes. Well, and at the time interval, as you say, I used to use TweetDeck. Does anyone know what TweetDeck is?
Yes.
That was the original early entrant, I think.
Yeah.
And then we converted over to Hootsuite and then Social Ally. But is anyone else on a different platform than those three? Buffer?
Yeah, it will even give you some things that you can post in the future. They give you content.
Oh, that's awesome. So yeah. Buffer would be another good one.
There's a new one coming out that they're still testing, I think, but I've seen promotions for it called Edgar, which will allow you to schedule posts, but you can also schedule them to go out again and again and again, which is something new. Otherwise, you have to typically trigger that yourself. This one, if you schedule a post once, you can have it go out again in 5 days, the same exact post, without having to re-enter the information. Yeah, and what's nice in a lot of these is you can also say Facebook this day, LinkedIn this day, so they're not overlapping, going on all at once. So again, it gives you that ability. I said earlier, consistency over frequency. Be consistent. Whatever you're going to decide to do, have it part of your goals. We've decided as a company, you can only onboard maybe 1 to 2 franchise companies a year, and you're going to tax your entire team. So 1 year we did 3, and I thought I was going to lose half my team because they were really overworked.
One thing to remember about scheduling, though, because this happened to me, is I scheduled a whole bunch on Hootsuite and just let it go. And in the middle of my father-in-law's funeral, a tweet went out about something so happy, and my family, but I got a tweet from you in the middle of the funeral where it was, I had to explain to him what Hootsuite was.
Yeah, it's a waste. It's a total waste.
Right.
Yeah, well, on top of that, you also want to be relevant. So you don't want to post something that was brand new today and you're posting it 5 days from now, because then you've lost all the momentum.
Yeah, well, this campaign allowed me to do that. It didn't matter, but.
Yeah, that's just unfortunate. Any other questions?
What about a company page, promote stuff on that as opposed to your personal?
Yeah, I highly recommend you have a company page. Yeah, so, and you can do promotions inside of it, but typically people are going to search for you first, they'll find your company second, but you want to have both profiles. So definitely set up a company page, if you have a company.
How do you find emails?
It's under messages, so.
Well, how do you find someone's email?
Oh, you don't.
You don't have.
No, you can't on a basic account at all, unless they post it somewhere inside their profile. So that's the protected, what do they call it, the sacred cow. They don't want people knowing that, because especially if it's the profile connected to, or it's the email connected to their profile. So it's not very hard to find them inside of LinkedIn.
Can you have a company page with basic or?
Yes.
You can?
Yeah. One of the things I really like, and I told Lisa to remind me about this, but I just remembered, YouTube is a really, really good tool. I use YouTube. I guarantee there's a video on almost any subject. So, setting up a company page on LinkedIn and a search inside of YouTube would probably give you a video. And I'd watch the video rather than try to figure it out, because it's so much easier, start, stop. But if you, set up a company page, set up a channel. Well, that channel would be LinkedIn itself, or I'm sorry, YouTube itself. But see, if you're setting it up, you find how many, you got a whole bunch. So find one that's relevant, because one of the things you have to watch on YouTube, here's one 2 years ago. Is that relevant?
Probably not.
Yeah, here's one 5 months ago. Right, 5 months ago, probably
That's
pretty relevant. 2 years ago, LinkedIn's worked how many times in 2 years? Right, so it might be totally irrelevant on setting up a company page. But I would use YouTube to, if you don't know how to do that, since we didn't cover today. Any other questions? We're still okay. I wanted to give you time to network. But
A little bit of an oddball question. I was trying to get the ASBA logo in my profile. I don't seem to be able to do that anyway.
Get the ASBA logo in your profile?
Yeah, on my LinkedIn page, I want to add. You know that I'm a member.
It'd be pretty hard for you to, if you're a member, yeah, we don't ASBA. We don't want to do that.
You guys send me the logo. They send you the logo to post places.
Yeah, I guess the question is there an option to put an image, I guess, besides the banner in the background in the LinkedIn profile
you
itself?
could be connected to, on your profile, you could be connected to different groups, but it's not like Facebook, where you can say, hey, I like this company, and then you start seeing that in your profile. You could like the ASBA page, but I don't know if you're going to get the logo.
No. In terms of looking, so ASBA has already sent me the logo to add to. I've already got that from ASBA because I'm a member. I'm trying to get it added into LinkedIn.
You have to go to your profile and edit your profile, then you go down to where you've added them, and then you can use the pen, and then you can
just put it in.
logo.
So where would you put that though?
See how it's on the side there?
So that's what I want to do, right?
Oh, okay. So click on the pen.
That actually comes in because at the time I was an advocate for ASBA, so when I put that information in, the logo popped in on its own.
Okay, so how do I?
You enter your information here, what you're a part of.
So it doesn't do that anymore, Dave?
It's not doing it now for me.
See where it says photo down at the bottom?
Yeah, right there. Add media.
Add media.
There you go. There you go.
And then you can just browse and put it there.
There's an upload file.
Okay. So they send it to you, you just upload it to the photos.
Let's see. You should send it to me, yeah.
Yeah. And there's an option under where you put your information of where you work. There's options to put in files and images, and that's where you would be able to.
Yeah, be real careful with photos because photos have to be specific sizes. Sometimes they automatically resize, but make sure it's a photo that would be sized right for that use. Get a question?
Yes, in your professional opinion, what is the number of times or length of time to ping or email or contact someone without seeming to be lurking or stalking?
It depends on who it is. I mean, it really does. Like if it's a COO, CEO, the higher up an organization, the less often I ping them. I literally will let more time elapse. Yeah, so if it's a standard business owner, it's better if you get connected to them first, and then once you're connected, then ping away. Just don't get crazy, because if they're not responding, there's a reason they're not responding, right? So you don't want to turn them off. So I do maybe 1 to 2 a week on the high side if I'm trying to connect to somebody, because not everybody reads email every day.
For how long? A month?
How hungry are you?
6 months?
And also one thing they don't put the email address in there or connect their email address that they see every day.
That's right.
Like I had a CEO respond to me say, sorry, it took me so long to respond. This is not an email I normally look at. So it took a little while for him to respond.
Yeah, and a lot of people do that. I mean, I connected mine originally with an email address I never checked. Then I learned a mistake from that. Because people were picking like crazy and has never responded.
Besides the photos, any recommendation on where you can find some photos that you can use without repercussions for like your cover photo or for your publication? Yeah,
actually, so Lisa, go to Google. We use a lot of different services, but they're usually paid services. But there's some really good free photography out there, if you will, or artwork. So give me a keyword.
Success.
Okay, success. So type in success, and this is really a standard. Just hit enter. So this is a standard Google function. See this little word up here? It says images. Yeah. Right. When you click on that, you literally get a ton, and most of them are probably public domain. Now, how you would know if they're public domain is when you click on one, you'll see. Scroll down, we'll find one that's going to be a paid.
Yeah, because I tried that, and a lot of them have. It just kind of says it may or may not need to have royalties, and so then I don't use it because I don't want to get smacked.
Yeah, I mean, one of the worst things going to happen is they're going to slap your wrist. Right. You could always ping them. What my guys do, we ping them. and say, hey, we're going to use this image. Is that okay? Right? Because we ask.
Yeah.
Because we've got burned by not asking. Yeah. Well, if they send you a bill, you just take it down. So they're not really going to be able to collect. But if you pay them in advance, you eliminate that issue. Yes.
If I can just suggest another one, it's called Microsoft Images. They're free. They're excellent quality. And if you even find a style that you like, they'll select images that are similar style. So you can have a nice uniform look in your LinkedIn profile or whatever you're working on.
Yeah, and so Lisa, click on one of those. One of the things that I always like to make the image. I want to see what it's doing. So click on any one, doesn't matter. I want to see the image itself, you know, the clarity. Because a lot of times you can do a right click and save it, but that might not be the best way to capture it. So we usually use capture tools. You know, there's a really good one called Snagit. If you've ever heard of Snagit, but there's a lot out there. If you're on a Mac, Macs are better at it than Windows machines are, right? Just because they are. I mean, that's just the way Mac is built. But you know, Windows has made a lot of progress there. So does that help?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions?
I just want to get back to what you were saying about not when you're hammering. No, I'll say it that way. When you're consistently reaching out to someone in a high position, they're not getting back. What's worked well for me is just a very small card and a note saying, "Hey, I've sent you this. Just wondering if you're receiving them. So and so, please let me know. Thank you." And a little not business, but a professional thank you card handwritten will get addressed right to the person.
Well, and that brings up the point. You know, back in the day when my dad passed, he had a thing called the Thomas Register. Oh, remember the Thomas Register?
Yeah, sure.
Where do you have to go to get that?
Library.
Library, right? So we had to go to the library to do this work, where you get this thing called Google today. We make a big mistake by not doing all that research on the companies. So we really minimize our effectiveness by not researching the company and finding out who they are and what makes them tick. Because you could get an address probably pretty easily and send them like Send Out Cards does really nice personal notes. Does anyone know who Send Out Cards is? Right, it's a nice online, card delivery system, if you will. But sending a personal note is still pretty powerful today. You know, you'd be amazed. People think everything's electronic and it has to be done. You know, no such thing as the old-fashioned way. Personal notes get noticed a lot, and I would recommend that's a great. If you're not getting the results, by the way, you have these things called gatekeepers, right? Any good COO, CEO, probably more CEO. Has a good gatekeeper. Then everyone know what gatekeeper is? Yeah, someone like a receptionist or an admin. Right back in my day, they were secretaries, right? So they're the ones that keep everything from getting to the chief, right? And so if they're doing their job well, that might even not get through. But
that's the target for the handwritten note, little $5 gift card.
And that little $5 gift card.
Right.
All right, I think we're going to close up because we're out of time. But thanks for coming. Please connect to myself, to Lisa, to Gabe. We'll stick around with
All righty.
How far out do you go?
Thanks. Let's see. Troy, appreciate you sticking around. I'm going to go ahead and end the podcast. So unless you have any questions, I'll see you later.
I'm sending a card.